Okay, today we're taking a deep dive into 1 Chronicles chapter 19. It's a really striking story, isn't it? All about diplomacy gone wrong. Very wrong.
It really is. And it kicks off with what seems like, a gesture of goodwill. King David hears that Nahash, the Ammonite king, has died.
Right, someone who'd apparently shown David some kindness before.
Exactly. So David thinks, okay, I'll show kindness to his son Hanun,
Hmm.
sends messengers, standard procedure, just to offer condolences.
Just basic diplomacy. What could go wrong?
Well, quite a lot, apparently. Hanun's advisors, the Ammonite nobles, they step in. And they tell Hanun basically, don't trust David. These aren't diplomats. They're spies.
Spies. They actually interpreted sympathy as reconnaissance.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
They convinced Hanun these men were there to check out the kingdom, map it, figure out how to overthrow it.
Wow. So Hanun buys this.
He does. And his reaction is, well, it's pretty extreme. The text says he grabs David's messengers,
Yeah.
shaves off half their beards, which, was a massive sign of dishonor back then.
A huge insult, right? Cutting off a beard like that.
Absolutely. And then it gets worse. He cuts their robes off, right in the middle, exposing their lower bodies.
Oh, wow. Utter humiliation.
Total public disgrace.
Yeah.
And then he just sends them packing like that.
And the text really drives home how bad this was, because David hears about it and tells the men, essentially, don't come back yet.
Yeah, he sends word, stay in Jericho until your beards grow back.
Yeah.
They couldn't even show their faces in Jerusalem. The shame was that intense.
So this massive insult obviously can't stand.
No, and the Ammonites seem to realize pretty quickly they've made a huge mistake. They know they've provoked David severely. The text says they became a stench to him.
They knew trouble was coming, so they prepare.
Oh, they prepare. They basically empty the coffers, spend 1,000 talents of silver, a huge sum, hiring mercenaries.
Mercenaries from where?
From the Aramean kingdoms, north and east. Aram Naharaim, Aramaka, Zobah. We're talking, according to the source, 32,000 chariots.
32,000. That's an enormous force.
Plus the king of Makkah and his own troops. They all gather near Medeba, ready for a fight.
Clearly, they anticipated a major response from David.
And David delivers. He doesn't just send a small force. He sends Joab with the entire army. All the mighty men.
Okay, so Joab gets there, sees the situation. How does he handle it? The Ammonites are by their city. The mercenaries are in the field.
Right, he's got enemies basically front and back. So Joab, he's smart. He splits his forces, takes the best, the elite troops, to face the Arameans, the hired guns.
And the rest.
He puts them under his brother Abishai's command, facing the Ammonites near the city gate. A classic pincer defense, almost.
And before they engage, Joab gives that famous speech.
He does. He tells his men, be strong, let's fight bravely for our people, for God's cities. The Lord will do what is good in his sight. It's part strategy, part faith.
A real rallying cry.
Definitely. And it works, initially. Joab attacks the Arameans, and they break. They start to flee.
And the Ammonites see this.
They see their hired allies running, and, well, they lose their nerve. They retreat back into the safety of their city. Joab decides not to press a siege right then and heads back to Jerusalem.
But that's not the end of it with the Arameans, is it?
Not at all. They regroup. They realize they need more strength. So Hadazer, their main king, sends for reinforcements from across the Euphrates River. Big reinforcements, led by his top commander, Shofak.
So this escalates even further. Now it's serious enough for David himself to get involved?
Exactly. David hears about this massive Aramean mobilization, gathers all of Israel, crosses the Jordan, and goes to meet them head on.
This is the main event now.
This is the decisive battle. And David's forces completely overwhelm the Arameans. They flee again.
And the casualties mentioned are huge.
Yeah, the text specifies, David's army killed the men of 7,000 chariots and 40,000 foot soldiers. And importantly, they killed Shofak, the commander.
A crushing defeat for the Arameans.
Absolutely devastating. And it has immediate political consequences. All those smaller kingdoms, the vassals who had served Hadadezer,
Yeah.
they see the writing on the wall. They make peace with David, become his subjects, basically. And crucially, they refuse to help the Ammonites anymore.
So the Ammonites are now isolated?
Completely isolated. Their big gamble, hiring all those mercenaries, totally backfired.
It's quite a chain reaction, isn't it? All starting from that one diplomatic mission.
It really is. A gesture of sympathy, then suspicion fueled by advisors, leading to a terrible insult.
Which spirals into this huge regional war, massive loss of life, shifting power balances.
Exactly. It just shows how how quickly things can escalate when trust breaks down, especially based on poor counsel.
It makes you think about the weight advisors carry, doesn't it? Those Ammonite nobles,
Yeah.
their advice led directly to disaster for their people.
It really does. And it leaves you wondering, based on the text, what drove that initial suspicion? Was it just fear, past history?
Hmm.
And how vital is that moment of leadership judgment? Do you react based on fear or do you seek understanding? That choice can clearly change everything.
Definitely something to consider. How misinterpretations and the advice we take can have such far-reaching consequences.